One thing about me, I love a good vegetarian pizza.
Manze leo tunapika.
Manze leo tunapika.
Hi, I'm Gateri. Welcome to Leo Tunapika. This is a channel where I share easy and delicious recipes for the everyday curious cook. And in today's episode, we're going to make 3 different types of pizzas, and all these pizzas are going to be vegetarian. So what's going to be different other than the toppings on the pizza is that each pizza will have a different pizza sauce base. So one will have the standard red sauce, which is made with tomatoes. The second one will have white sauce, which is like we'll make a bechamel for it. And then the third one will be a pesto based pizza. And yeah, that's it. So to start us off, we'll start by making the pizza dough. And over time, I just make my pizza dough with 4 ingredients, and 5 if you count olive oil. So the 4 ingredients being the all-purpose flour, yeast, salt, lukewarm water, and olive oil. Let's make the dough. For the dough, we'll start by measuring out our flour. I'm using all-purpose flour. I'll do 500 grams. I'll write what the measurement is in cups in the description box. Okay, so that's 500. Let's be pedantic and make it exactly 500. And then going to add some salt. So a teaspoon of salt. I'm using Himalayan pink salt. Then the yeast. I forgot to get it out of the freezer. I store my yeast in the freezer. Let me get it. I'm using instant dry yeast. So with this yeast, if you know you've bought it recently, you've stored it in the freezer, you don't even need to bloom it to see whether it's working, since I've stored it in the freezer. So I'm going to put 3 teaspoons of the yeast. Then give everything a mix. I go in with the water. This is lukewarm water, so not hot, lukewarm, even a bit colder than bath water. And then we'll mix. These are 2 cups, but I won't put the whole amount at a go. I'll just keep seeing how the dough is behaving. Then I can actually put a tablespoon of olive oil. At this stage, what you're looking for is to form a shaggy dough. So something sticky and shaggy like this. You see, now this is a shaggy dough. It's sticky. And then now the hard work can begin. Ideally, I would have used my KitchenAid for this, but I figured, let me use my hands so that I can show you, in case you don't have a mixer, how you can do it. So we'll start by lightly flouring the surface there. Then you dump out the dough. Maybe I should have used less water. It looks a bit too sticky. It looks good. So I would say start with about 1.5 cups of water. I've done maybe slightly more than 1.5. Actually, I've done 1.5. So start with like 1.25 cups of water. Then now we go in and knead. So still very sticky. So here we're going to knead this for 7 minutes. We want to knead till the dough no longer sticks to your hands. And to avoid you adding so much flour, you can put a little oil in your hands so that now you're able to knead the dough nicely. But before I do that, I think I'll add just a little more flour. So maybe we can play around with about 550 grams of flour if you're going to use 1.5 cups of lukewarm water. Yeah, like so. See, still sticky, but not really sticking to your hands. Put a bit of oil. Then now I get to work. It's been about 7 minutes and here is my dough. See, my hands no longer sticky. So now the next part is to let the dough proof. First we'll form it into like a ball. Then once we do that, take your bowl, add a little oil, then put the dough, coat it with the oil, cover with a cloth, set that aside and let it rise for about 45 minutes to an hour or until it doubles in volume. My kitchen tends to be very warm, so we'll work with 45 minutes. As that is rising, we'll start working on the sauces and the different toppings. As I said, we're making 3 types of pizzas. So the one with the red sauce, that one will top it with grilled eggplant slices, some tomato slices, and mozzarella cheese, of course. The one with the white sauce will do mushroom and onion, and then the one with the pesto, we're going to do a medley of vegetables. So I'm using sweet corn, and then I'm going to use 2 types of peppers and some fresh onion slices. So this ones I won't pre-cook the onions. So let's go to the stove top. Oh, first let me wash my hands. So I have prepped a number of the vegetables. By prep I mean washed, sliced and all that, but I want to show you how I'll prep the eggplant. So I'll take my eggplant, then I cut them into slices about that thick. This is like a centimeter. So, or could I go thinner? No, I think this is fine. Once they are sliced like this, so I'll take a tray, place them. Essentially they should be one single layer. I should have put a paper towel at the bottom, but it's okay. Then I sprinkle some salt. So the salt helps to draw out the moisture from the eggplant, that way they grill beautifully. And also sometimes the eggplant seeds have like a bitterish taste, so the salt helps counter that, but mostly I'm using it just to draw the moisture. So we'll do that, set that aside for the salt to be doing its work. In the meantime, I want to blitz these tomatoes to use for the red sauce. I'm using my immersion blender, which I don't think it's a wise move, and I don't want to add any water, but let's see whether the blender will work. Okay, it might. That's beautiful, it has worked. So now, with this ready, we'll go to the stove top to cook the red sauce, to cook the mushrooms and the onions, and then once we cook the mushrooms and the onions, that's when I'll also make the white sauce, because I just want to use the same pan. This is also trying to work smart. You don't want to use all the utensils in your kitchen. And yeah, so stovetop red sauce to start cooking, which I'll cook for a short while, and then everything else. Now we'll start with adding oil. This is for the mushrooms, that's for the tomato sauce. Then I add some garlic. I just want the garlic to be fragrant, which it already is. Then I go in with the pureed tomatoes. Give that a stir. I won't cook this for long. I'm going to season it with some salt. And then to cut through the acidity of the tomatoes, I'm going to put some sugar, about a teaspoon of sugar. Give that a stir and let this cook down a bit. Since we didn't add any water and tomatoes have their own water, we want it to cook down a bit so that the water reduces. Let me just give it a taste. Yeah. I think the seasoning is right. Now the pan for the mushrooms. We want to saute the mushrooms. I'm using medium heat. I want them to have a beautifully brown color. When you're cooking such a meal, multitasking is imperative. So on the third burner, put some hot water I want to boil my sweet corn. Sweet corn takes a very short time to cook because one of the pizzas will have sweet corn. So let that be going. I'll also season that with salt. I keep looking for where I put the salt. So season that with some salt. So it's good to season your food in layers so that each and every element gets salt. Safe to say the first batch is ready. Takes a very short time, especially if you don't crowd your pan. Next batch. I've used very few mushrooms since it's just going to go on one pizza. Our mushrooms are now done. Still in the same pan. Some oil again, using olive oil. Then onions. So you want to cook down these onions until they're translucent. Nothing major. We won't caramelize them per se because that will take forever. Here on this other side, I think my red sauce is ready. It's not as thick as I would like, but I think we can make do with it. So I'll just take it off the heat, transfer the corn here since this other burner is a bit slow, as we wait for the onions to cook. I'm happy with where the onions are, so I've added back the mushrooms. Then I'm going to season with some garlic powder, salt, black pepper, and some dried thyme. So just mix everything up. Now these are our toppings for the mushroom and caramelized onion pizza. So we'll remove this and set it aside and use the same pan to make our white sauce. For the white sauce, you have to work very fast. So in the pan, I've added butter. That's a tablespoon, and a tablespoon of all-purpose flour. So I'm using just this whisk. I find it works better. And we start to cook down the flour. So for about 30 seconds to a minute. Like that. So we just want to cook out the raw flour taste. Then when that is done, we go in with our milk. So when you start making a white sauce, this bechamel, you have to make sure all your ingredients are just within reach, since you have to keep constantly stirring to avoid lumps. I'm adding the milk gradually. As you can see, it's already forming lumps. I think this is good. My white sauce is not as white, but what I like about cooking it in the same pan that cooked the onions and the mushrooms, it gets all that yummy flavor that was stuck at the bottom. It's incorporated into the white sauce. So it will thicken as it continues to cook. As you can see, it has thickened. It should coat the back of a spoon. Let's do that. Yep, perfect. So now we're going to season. For me, white sauce is not complete without some fresh nutmeg. Well, it doesn't have to be fresh. You can just use powdered, but I like fresh. So like that. Some salt, some pepper. Ideally, you're supposed to use white. I never have white pepper. Added some garlic powder just to carry through the same flavors that were in the mushrooms. So that's done. We can turn off the heat for that. Our corn is also done. So the only thing that's left now is to grill the eggplant and to make the pesto. You can see my phone in frame, but whatever, man. It's already been 45 minutes. Actually, my dough has risen, but I haven't finished with the toppings, so we'll just give it some more time as we finalize on the pesto. So for the pesto, again, I'm going to use my immersion blender. What I've done is I've rinsed it out, and my pesto is very unconventional. I didn't plan well, but that's the beauty of cooking. You work with what you have. I'm going to use parsley in my pesto, hazelnuts. Yeah. So to give my immersion blender a head start, I'm going to crush the hazelnuts in my mortar and pestle, just to give it. So parsley, hazelnuts, and then going with 1 garlic clove. Honestly, I don't know whether I'll even be able to give you the measurements. So much eyeballing. Some salt, some black pepper, then olive oil, about maybe a 1/4 cup. Then I go in with my immersion blender. Okay, this may not. Okay. My blender. Okay, my blender is not too happy. Let me add more oil. I see whether that will make the process a bit better. It's not like I don't have a food processor, I do. But no, I have to embark on this. We'll need more olive oil. Oh my, the way olive oil costs so much. Let's use a spoon to see. The color is beautiful. That green is gorgeous. My blades have seen hell, but they've come out victorious. I think they have. Wow. Ah, so delicious. Oh my goodness. Tastes so good. I think I'll just give it one more go. There, our pesto is done. Parsley and hazelnut pesto. You will laugh. Now we are at the last leg of the toppings. I'm going to dry my eggplant, then place it on this silicone baking mat, and then in a preheated oven I'll let them grill. I'll also drizzle some olive oil, and then as this is grilling we can start assembling 2 of the pizzas. Here's the eggplant. In goes into the oven. So I've put 10 minutes and then I'll keep observing. Then here's my dough. Look at that. Let's punch it out, and then we're going to divide it into 3 equal balls. So of course I'm using my weighing scale for this because I am a sucker for precision, especially when it comes to cooking. Actually, only when it comes to cooking. Anyway, let's see how much this weighs. Weighs 997, so we can do roughly 333 per bowl. And as if the task of making 3 different pizzas with 3 different sauces is not enough, I'm also using 3 different surfaces. I'm going to use a cast iron pan, I'm going to use a non-stick pizza pan, and I'm also going to use the silicone mat that's already in the oven grilling the eggplant. So we'll start by making the pizza for the cast iron. Here I've decided I'll do the pesto one. Just a little drop of olive oil, using my hands to smear, taking the dough and then just using my hands to spread it out. And by the way, my ovens are preheating. I have 2 ovens. There's the one with the eggplant, and then there's another one that's currently preheating. This is where I add that I don't like making pizza at home, simply because I feel the ovens at home don't get very hot. Pizza needs a very hot oven, but you know what? We work with what we've got. Here's with a fork. So this is the pesto one. So I'll go in with the pesto. Look, oh, the color is so glorious. Then go in with some mozzarella cheese. So I'll just put torn pieces of mozzarella all around. Then I go in with my toppings. This is the one that has the peppers, so a bit of the yellow, a bit of the green peppers, then some onions, not so many. So normally it's best you put the cheese first, then the toppings. So like so, then some corn. Then to finish off, a good sprinkling of some dried thyme. If you have Italian seasoning, which is a mixture of several dried herbs, the better. So that I'm tempted to add just more cheese, because wow, what's pizza if not cheese? There you go. So our first pizza, I'll put it in the oven just now. Here, go to the second one. This is the one that will have the, what do you call this? The white sauce. So I'm just trying to stretch the dough with my hands. I'm no pizza, they're called pizza what? Oh, I'm no pizzaola. I think that's the name. But I'll just give it a try. This one's a non-stick, so I'm not going to put oil, just for the sake of showing you. Okay, I've torn it a bit. Though I've been to pizza places where you see them making the pizza, and when it tears, they just pinch it. So it's not a big deal. I'm trying to stretch it out. Maybe I should have just rolled it with my hands. No, with a rolling pin. But no, we stick to this. So just trying to stretch the edges so that it kind of fits. What I like about this pizza pan is this place, like a handle. So when you use your mitten, you can be able to grip nicely. Then now we go in with our white sauce, which with any cream thing, milk thing, it's already formed a skin. So spread out the white sauce. Go in with our mozzarella. This one is just grated. Then finish off with our onion and mushroom. Looks so good. Better be delicious. Using the other hand so that I don't add oil. So there. My oven has pinged, so meaning the eggplants are ready. So I can put one pizza in one oven, another pizza in the other oven. So let's put it there. I won't even attempt to tell you the time, because as I've complained, when you bake at home and the heat is not so high, sometimes it can take a bit longer. But yes, let's put this in the oven. Now the final one, the silk mat one. This one doesn't have to be round, since the silk mat is a different shape. So at least there's room for me to play. So I'll just spread it out just like I did the other one. Good, at least this has spread out well. Using a fork, poke holes. Did I poke holes in the mushroom one? I can't remember. Well, the power of replay will tell us. Then I go in with the sauce. I forgot to add the thyme to this sauce, so I'll just sprinkle it before I go in with the rest of the stuff. Sprinkling of thyme. Well, that's so generous. Then grated mozzarella. Then now the eggplant. I've gone in with more tomatoes. These are plum tomatoes. Then more cheese. Just tearing pieces of mozzarella and placing it strategically. Then some more sprinkling of the dried thyme. So we'll wait for the two that are in the oven to fully bake. Then we'll put this as the last one. And finally, we can taste the pizzas. The pizzas are finally done. Now we're going to give them a taste. So we can start with, I don't want to cut it when it's inside here. Look at the bottom. I had to bake it for so long. This one is pretty thick. Just rock the sakata back and forth. I'll just take a slice that I'll taste. Go to the second one. This is the mushroom and caramelized onion. Look at how the bottom baked. Don't know why. Again, rock the pizza cutter back and forth. Let me just take a slice. Then the last pizza, the eggplant one. This one is so heavy. Look at the bottom. This one is the one I baked on the silicone mat. So I'll slice it a bit different. This was the last one to come out of the oven, so it might have a bit of a pull because it's still hot. True, it does have a pull. All 3 slices. Moment of truth. Let's start. I'll start with the one with the pesto. Oh my. This one is so good. Wow. And then it's very fresh. I like it. Next, the mushroom and onion. Oh my goodness. Just when I thought I'd found the best one, I taste this. So good. And then the final one, the eggplant and tomato. I want to see whether I can get both eggplant and tomato in one bite. Not my battery going off at that time, but wow. So I think my favorite one is the pesto, peppers and corn pizza, then followed by the mushroom and caramelized onion white pizza, and then finally the eggplant and tomato, which I thought would be my favorite, but I feel like it needs a bit of salt. Let me just put a little bit of salt to elevate it a bit, then give it another taste. Definitely made a difference. Wow, I'm blown away. And there you have it. Those are my 3 vegetarian pizza recipes using 3 different sauces cooked on 3 different surfaces. If you're looking for a vegetarian pizza, I hope this video gives you some fun ideas on how to combine different ingredients for the tasty pizza. If you have an even or hotter oven, just know your pizzas will be ready within no time because majority of the toppings are actually pre-cooked. And yeah, all the details, everything, the nitty-gritties of the ingredients and all that stuff and where I've eyeballed, I'm going to put that in the description box. Otherwise, thank you so much for watching. If you've gotten to this part of the video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and subscribe if you haven't. And from Bigaturi, Kwaheri.